everyone, and welcome to YarnGasm. I'm Kristen, and this is episode 204. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back, and if you are a new viewer, thanks so much for checking out my podcast. This is a podcast about knitting, spinning, hand-dyeing yarn, sewing, and making all the things in Brooklyn, New York, where I'm from and I live. And as always, I'm very happy that you are taking some time out of your day to chat about those things with me. As always, we have a Ravelry group, which if you have not joined, you should totally join. Lots of chatter and conversation happening in there, and it's the place to be if you want to join in on some of our knit-alongs to show off your works in progress, your FOs, and a chance to win some prizes for said knit-along. So yeah, definitely check it out. And I am also Voolenvine on Ravelry, Voolenvine, and you can follow me on Instagram, where I'm most active social media wise. So yeah, okay, I feel like I covered all. I'm trying to get better at mentioning all this stuff at the head of the episode. I know I forgot something. Show notes for this episode and every other episode can be found at YarnGasmPodcast.com, and all that information I will pop down in the down bar so you know where to find it easily. But yes, okay, I think I covered all aspects of administrative announcements and what have you. But before I get into what I've been making this week, I just want to give a huge shout out to Rachel, who is, I can never pronounce her Instagram name, but I'll put it on the down bar. She is actually opening Woolen this weekend, which is a brand spanking new Brooklyn local yarn shop. It's going to be in Brooklyn Heights, and the grand opening is this weekend, August 20, is it the 20th or the 21st? I want to get this right. Yes, it's Saturday through Sunday, August 20th through August 21st. So if you are going to be in the area, do stop by, check it out. She's having a little shindig tonight, which I'm going to go to, and I'm super excited and happy for her. So Rachel, if you're watching, I don't know if you are, but congrats. Super excited to see you tonight, and good luck with the grand opening. Super exciting. So yeah, I just wanted to say that, and without further ado, let's get into what's on my needles. So I have actually been working on my Time to Make the Donut socks by Fiber Nymph Dye Works, which is the yarn, and it's a self-striping yarn inspired by, what else, Dunkin' Donuts. So I'm on the second sock. I haven't made too much progress on it, only because I've been working on it intermittently between other projects, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But here's where I am, and this is kind of part of a, I don't know what you want to call it, afterthought heel experiment that I'm conducting for myself personally, because as I mentioned in a couple of episodes, I had knit afterthought heel socks, and I wasn't crazy about them because they're too fiddly, and you know, with the scrap yarn and everything, it's just kind of a headache for me. But thanks to some of you viewers, you reached out to me and let me know, gave me a whole bunch of tips and tricks to try. So I actually, with the first sock, I tried one method of using super thin crochet thread, which is actually very strong and slippery. So it worked really nicely to hold the stitches when it came to holding the afterthought heel stitches. So yay for that one. But for the second sock, I'm actually using Susan B. Anderson's newest pattern called Smooth Operator Socks. So she has a technique in there. This is the thing, I have the pattern, I haven't read through it to see what that technique actually is. I'm just waiting until I get to the part where I want to insert the scrap yarn, but in hindsight, I should really sit down and read the pattern. But anyway, I'm just, you know, I will get to that, but right now I'm just knitting the leg of the sock. So I think this week I'll just sit down and actually see what the whole process is. But yeah, that's the plan for this sock. And I'm really I cannot get over this color, right? It is just, it reminds me of Dunkin' Donuts so much, which is the point, but it just makes me so happy to look at it because I love some Dunkin' Donuts, the coffee in particular. But anyway, yeah, so that is where I am with that one. And then I've also been working on, let me see, and this has all been living in this project bag that I made. I had cut the fabric out a long time ago. These will not be for sale in my shop, by the way, but anyway, I had cut the fabric out eons ago and never got around to stitching it up, because mermaid fabric, you guys, it's, how cool is that? And yeah, so I finally decided, you know what, I'm just gonna, I was cleaning out my fabric stash and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna stitch this together. And I really like the way it turned out. It's a longer-ish bag than I normally sew, but I really like it. It holds a lot. And yeah, it like has really awesome, I don't know if that's being blown out a little bit, but there you go. It has mermaids on it, and then on this side it just has, it's just so cool. And then I used the fabric that I used for my first Holly Burn skirt, I used as the lining, so I just really like the way it turned out. Anyway, living inside of it has been my socks, and also my granny rectangle, it's gonna be so hard to say every week. My granny rectangle blanket has been getting some love this week, so here's where it is. Here's where I am with that. And yeah, it's just a basic rectangle granny square. See, it's gonna be a while before I get the gist of that down. A granny rectangle blanket. It's a granny rectangle. So I've just been going around and around and around, and it's just been so fun. I've been working on it mainly just watching podcasts and TV. Yeah, and I've been using my Tulip size 4 2.5 millimeter crochet hook, which I cannot speak more highly of. I love the way this thing works. It's just it zips. It's awesome. So yeah, that's where I am with that. And I will of course post the link to the tutorial that shows you how to get a crochet granny rectangle started. The pattern is actually from a blog called Crochet Again, and I will of course post a link to it in the show notes, so in case you're curious and want to get one started yourself. And yes, so that's where that is. And then the other thing that I had been working on but is kind of taking a back seat this week is my Sophia shawl, which is my lace shawl that I'm knitting. It's a triangular shawl with noops and beads, and it's absolutely beautiful. But if you recall, last week I had swapped out the needles from Chiaogus to Haya sharps because knitting the noops requires a little bit of a point with your needle. So but as I was knitting it, I was looking at my work, and I really didn't like the way the noops had turned out using the Chiaogus. So I'm gonna frog back. I know it's gonna kill me, but I know it's gonna bother me. So I'm gonna frog back to the beginning of the lace and just reknit it using the Haya sharps, because yeah, it wouldn't look right. So it's taking a little bit of a backseat this week, just a little time out, because when that happens, sometimes you just need to give your work a timeout. So, but instead, I had been, if you remember, I had cast on a shawl from a book. It was a new lace knitting. The title escapes me, but I will put it in the down bar so you know what I'm talking about. But I cast on the shawl pattern, really fell in love with the idea of it, but I really wasn't feeling it at the moment. I want to knit it eventually, but just the process of it, I wasn't in the right state of mind to be knitting on it. So I ripped it out, and the yarn I was using was my own hand-dyed yarn, which is I Am No Bird, which is inspired by Jane Eyre, of course. So here's the yarn that I cast on using it, and it's on my Volca base, which is a merino nylon cashmere. But it was staring me in the face, and I immediately thought of this one pattern called Amethyst by Robin Ulrich, I believe it is. Yeah, and the lovely and amazing Abby from Get Lit and Knit, which is an awesome podcast you should totally check out, had generously, wonderfully, we did a swap together, but in addition, she sent me a copy of this pattern, and it had been languishing in my library for not too long, but you know, I was looking at the skein, and then I was like, that would be perfect for that. And normally I would be remiss to cast on a laced shawl using variegated speckled yarn, because I wouldn't want the pattern to get lost within the color variations, if that makes any sense. But yes, I looked at it and I was like, I think that will go very well together. So here's where I am with it. Again, I've just been so monogamous on this shawl, it's just been flying off the needles. So I cast this on maybe, I think over the weekend on Saturday, and here's where I am with it. And I think I only have like maybe 15 more rows to go. So yeah, it seems like a lot, but it's gonna stretch out. And I really, really am in love with the way this is turning up. And it's, as I say with all the other lace projects I've been knitting, the lace shawls, like shawls have been intuitive. This is very intuitive, even more so than the last two shawls that I have been working on. So this is exactly what I've been needing. So it's amazing, like when you find the right pattern, how quickly it just flies off the needles. And I can watch podcasts and TV shows while I'm working on it. And yeah, it's reaching that point where it's the black hole of shawl knitting. I know it, again, like I know it doesn't look like I've knit very much on it, but I had to go down 2 needle sizes. The pattern calls for US size 6 needles, and I actually went down to a size 4, which is a 3.5mm needle. And these are my Chiaogus. And yeah, it's knitting up a little smallish. So but yeah, I think once it blocks, it's gonna stretch out a lot. So having so much fun with that. Yeah, and I just really, really love this pattern. Pattern and the yarn. I, you know, can't get enough of it. It's kind of like my Gashley Crumb colorway, but obviously different colors, but it has the same kind of aesthetic to it as far as like variegation and speckles are concerned. But yeah, let me just see if you can, if you look really hard, I don't know if you can see them, but you can see like these little like rust flecks in there, which really make my heart sing. So anyway, having so much fun knitting on this. And I have more yarn, the ripped out yarn that I have. I caked that back up again, but here's how much yarn that I have with what I'm knitting with. I don't know why I showed that to you, but yeah, that's where I am. So yeah, that is pretty much it for, oh no, wait, there's more. As you know, I mentioned last week, I am co-hosting a unicorn along with the lovely and amazing Magdalena from the Wolf and Schaefer podcast. Hi Magdalena. And so yeah, she sent me a pattern, a unicorn pattern by, oh, I'm so bad with names. Why am I bad with names? I hate being bad with names, but I am. She had sent me a pattern, a link to a pattern called Nilla the Unicorn by Rachel Borello Carroll. And immediately I thought, okay, you know what? How cool would it be for us to do a unicorn along? It's just magical. So we both agreed to do it. So if you would like to double dip, please feel free to double dip. I will post a link to Magdalena's knit along thread in her Ravelry group. And so you can, you know, join in on both ends and chatter and share your progress. But yeah, when I announced the knit along, it got such a great response. There's already so many people like posting in the unicorn along thread in the YarnGasm Ravelry group. So definitely check it out. Even if you don't want to join in, it's just a happy place to be. Like I was just scrolling through it and I'm like seeing everybody's colorway choices and what they planned in it. And you guys, it's just gonna get happier in there. It's wonderful. So I can't wait to see that group grow, or that thread grow. Right now there's a chatter thread and a non-chatter thread, so if you want to join in, use the chatter thread to, you know, post as many posts as you want, photos, links, what have you, and comment on each other's projects. But then I also created a non-chatter thread where you can, 1 post per person, and you can enter to win giveaway prizes. So do check that out. But I did cast mine on. I cast it on, I think, was it the day before yesterday I cast it on. I saw Magdalena had already gotten started on hers. And I was just like, you know what, let's do this. So here's where I am. It's gonna be quite a dark unicorn. So, but good magic, don't worry. But yeah, this yarn is actually yarn that I had snagged in a Jinx yarn update a while ago. So it's worsted weight yarn in her, it's an experimental dye lot, so it's a one of a kind. I don't think you can get this colorway, but Laura dyes colorways in the same vein as this. So, you know, if you want to, you know, just saying, she does dye some worsted weight yarns very similar to this. So do check out her shop. But yeah, this has just been sitting in my stash waiting for the perfect project. And I will admit, I don't knit with worsted weight as often as I knit with like fingering weight and DK weight. So but as soon as I saw the pattern and I saw that yarn, I was like, all right, it's a perfect match. So yeah, I'm done with the snout, I guess you want to call this. I have a unicorn snout. So now I have to add the safety eyes, and I'm debating whether or not I want to add safety eyes, whether I want to just add buttons, or because I do have safety eyes. I remember I just tore my office apart looking for safety eyes because I know I have them, but they are quite small. So I'm thinking maybe just adding some buttons as eyes, which I think would be adorable. So I think I'm gonna do that instead of safety eyes. So we'll see. But so far it's just again, like a really fun, relaxing knit. Who knew unicorn snouts could be a relaxing knit? I don't know. Snoot, snout. I just love. Why is that so fun to say? I have no idea. But anyway, that's where I am with this. And yeah, again, if you want to join in on the knit along, I forgot to mention this at the top, you can knit any pattern of or relating to unicorns as you wish. So, you know, it can be a stuffy, it could be a shawl with a unicorn motif, it could be called a unicorn something, the yarn could be unicorn something, what have you. As long as there are unicorns present in your projects, you can join in on the knit along. So if your project just has unicorn stitch markers, maybe not, but yeah, you get the idea. And yes, pegacorns and pegasi, as long as it has a horn. I'm on the fence about narwhals, because technically they are unicorns, I guess. But I don't know, Magdalena, what do you think? I'll email you and see what you think about that. But so narwhals TBD. I will get back to you on that as soon as I can. But anyway, yes. Okay, so that is what I'm working on knitting wise. Sewing, I'm trying to think. Let me see. Do I have... Yeah, sewing. As I mentioned last week, I had finished my version of the polka dot day dress from Gertie's book, Gertie's Ultimate Dress book. And while I really liked the way it turned out, it was... I posted about it on Instagram, you know, modeling the dress, like some legit photos of me actually wearing the dress so you can see what it looks like from a distance, and the fabric and everything. Cute dress, is gonna get a lot of wear, but I think we can all agree that it was just a little too baggy in the bust area, and it could have, even though I did do a muslin, for some reason it just still turned out quite baggy in the bust area. I think because the cotton fabric that I used was different than the muslin that I used. I think the cotton had a little bit more stretch to it. I have no idea what happened, but anyway, it just ended up a little bit baggy in the bust area. So I did do a small bust adjustment, or an SBA, to the pattern over the weekend, and I'm going to try and explain this. If you are not familiar, they have large bust or full bust adjustments for people that are well endowed and, you know, need a little more extra fabric in that area when they're sewing. And then you also have a small bust adjustment for people that don't need all that fabric there for the pattern that they are sewing. So when it came to sewing that dress, I fell under the small bust adjustment league. So after I made the small bust adjustment, I made another muslin, and it seemed like it fit a little bit, but then I made another muslin afterwards. I think I made a total of 4 muslins just to get the fit right, and I think I'm finally there. But yeah, it was just a lot of manipulating and getting to that point. Anyway, muslins are amazing. You should always do them, at least, you know, for a new pattern, until you get that perfect fit. So yeah, but thank you to everybody who suggested just shifting the bust line, or the bottom curve of the pattern up just a smidge, you know, right below where the underwire of my bra would come. So that's pretty much what I did. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, after 4 muslins, I think I have it down. I will be making another one soon, so I haven't given up on it. But yeah, it was definitely a learning curve, which I'm totally embracing, as stressful as it can get. I still consider myself a newbie sewer, because, you know, I've only been sewing maybe like a year and a half now, maybe less, I have no idea. But it's any opportunity I get to learn something new is only going to make, you know, my sewing better. So I welcome any challenge when it comes to, or, you know, any brick wall that I hit when it comes to sewing, because yeah, I'm gonna learn something new and it's gonna be awesome and only better my sewing down the line. So anyway, so but yes, so that was an experience. And the next thing that I am planning to sew is kind of awesome. I was browsing Ravelry and, or not Ravelry, I was browsing Pinterest, just, you know, I created like a little black dress board, and, you know, out of curiosity, one night I was bored, I was like browsing through it, and I came across this one dress that I fell in love with. I don't think it's available anymore, but it's by Vivienne Westwood, and it's just this beautiful, like, kind of slightly off the shoulder lace dress. It's like, it's black lace, but it has like kind of like a nude undertone to it, or a nude underlining to it. So it's like almost like, I don't know if hers was bonded fabric, but anyway, I fell in love with this dress, and it's like, it was available on Net-a-Porter for like $378, and I believe I pinned it before I started sewing, and I was very tempted to like take the plunge and buy that thing because it was gorgeous. But yeah, my wallet was very happy that it was sold out, because yeah, it was just crazy. I would have been a moment of, I would have pleaded insanity should I have purchased that. But anyway, I stumbled on it again, and I realized, I was like, whoa, you know, I actually have some similar fabric in my stash. And I looked at, you know, I looked at the dress as a whole, and I'm like, all right, you know, it's a designer gown. There's no way my skills are as good as that, you know, but just, you know, from purely just looking at it, I was like, okay, if I had to dumb it down a little bit, if that makes any sense, like, it's simply just a princess seamed bodice with off the shoulder sleeves type of thing, you know, not too off the shoulders. And then the skirt is actually one of those handkerchief, like asymmetrical skirts, if you're not familiar. Anyway, I'll post a photo of it here so you know what I'm talking about. But, and I just thought, you know, all right, let me browse some pattern sites and see if I can find something with a similar look to it, because I definitely saw some patterns with those, with like a handkerchief skirt bottom, or a handkerchief skirt shape. So I was browsing McCall's, which they were having a sale at the time still. So I definitely caught a sale again. But I came across this one dress, and I will post it here so you know what I'm talking about. Pretty much the same shape. I mean, with the exception of not maybe a princess bodice, and, you know, but anyway, it just, I can definitely alter the neckline so it looks similar to the Vivienne Westwood dress. And let me show you the fabric that I have, just to give you an idea. Okay, so here is the fabric, and I purchased this from fabric.com, believe it or not, for I think like $5 or $6 per yard, and I have like four yards in here. So, and the pattern definitely, it calls for way less than that. So, and it's very easy. So I looked at it and I was like, I could totally make this happen. And so I bought the pattern. I bought the pattern, and yeah, I am gonna try and replicate the dress. I have total confidence in myself that I can make this happen. Call me crazy, but yeah, the fabric is actually just bonded lace. So it's lace bonded to kind of like a, it's not, oh yeah, it is quite stretchy, but once it's bonded, it's not very stretchy. So it's kind of like this nylon. I don't know what it is exactly, but I don't know if you can see this. But yeah, it has kind of like a stretch to it this way, but not the other way. And here's the front of it, so you know what I'm talking about. And we actually have a wedding to go to in October, so the idea is to basically make a dress for this wedding. So I'm very excited about it. So stay tuned for that. I blogged about it over on my sewing blog called House of Voolenvine. So definitely check it out if you're curious, or watch that space. I will definitely blog about the process of sewing the dress. But yeah, I'm just super excited to get going on it. But speaking of excitement when it comes to sewing, I was completely inspired by Maria from the Stitched in Sweden podcast. I don't know if you have heard of her podcast, but you should totally check it out. She's amazing. But she fell head deep into bra making, and you guys, her bras are absolutely stunning. They look so professional, and she showed her latest episode, she showed off several bras that she's made, and my jaw just, I stopped what I was doing and my jaw just like, she's incredible. Maria, you were awesome. But yeah, she officially announced that all of her bras in her wardrobe are completely handmade now, which I think is amazing. But yeah, she totally encouraged me and enabled me to sign up for the Craftsy class. I believe it's called Bra Making, Construction, and Fit with Beverly Johnson. So I signed up for it, and I caught it when I think it's originally $49.99 US, but they were having a sale for $19.99. So of course I had to jump on it, signed up for it, started watching it. And I also purchased the pattern that she used, which is the Marlboro pattern from Orange Lingerie. And I bought 2 bra making kits. I'm starting out with kits. I've never purchased a kit before, believe it or not, only because I have no idea what I'm doing. And you know, I'm watching the class and she goes over materials and everything, but it's a lot of new terminology that I'm not really keen on, so I decided just, you know, let's get a kit. This way I have all the materials out in front of me. I did make separate purchases for the applique scissors and a small rotary cutter, so I have those coming to me. I'm sorry, there's a truck backing up. So I have those coming to me, so and I will post a link to all of these websites and things that I'm mentioning right here in the show notes. But yeah, so super excited to do that as well. I know I said that I was going to do a corset. I am doing I did sign up for the I did say that I signed up for the Allison Smith corsetry class, which you guys was amazing also. I simply just watched the class from start to finish over the weekend, and it was just so fascinating to watch, and I definitely want to make a corset because it looks so fun. But I think I'm going to get started with bras first, only because they're smaller and what have you. But yeah, corsets and bras I feel like are totally different animals, just construction wise, just following along with the bra class and everything. So anyway, I'm making an executive decision. I'm starting with the bra, and then I'm going to move on to corset because I have another exciting thing which I won't talk about this episode. Maybe I'll save it for the next episode. But yeah, it's going to be in a long that I'm co-hosting with somebody, so I'll save it for next week when I have all the logistics, when we have all the logistics down on paper or what have you. But yay, very, very excited about that. And yeah, I realized this morning, I'm such a craftsy junkie. Even if it's not like I'm not following along with the class, I just really enjoy watching them. Because yeah, it's like you watch a class from start to finish, you absorb all, you know, this information, and then when the time comes, you know, when I finally want to jump on making stuff from that class, it's like, okay, I have a little bit of prior knowledge that I can just go back and refer back to that part, you know. So but yeah, I'm definitely guilty of just impulse purchasing classes from there, especially when they have sales. It's kind of hard not to, but I just love it though, because I don't know, I just feel like I'm learning so much and it's just amazing. But anyway, yes, so that is what I've been working on this week as far as sewing goes. But yeah, I did, along with that McCall's pattern, I did purchase 2 other patterns because why not? They were having a sale. It was like $2.50 per pattern. So yeah, I have those coming to me. And I did order some more bat fabric. I did, okay. Because I love that fabric so much. Again, I have no idea what I'm going to make with it, but I really do want a garment that fits me well in that fabric. So I think that will just live in my stash until that pattern comes along. But I will still be wearing my other bat dress that I made. You know, even though it doesn't fit quite well, it fits. It's, you know, it's not terrible, because thank goodness for push-up bras. They just work wonders when it comes to that stuff, but it will definitely get some wear. I love it. Just, you know, it doesn't fit perfectly, but anyway. So yeah, that is sewing for this week. We do not have a Ask Me Anything or Ask Away segment this week. There were no questions in the thread. But yes, if you have any questions of or relating to the podcast, myself, hand dyeing yarn or sewing or what have you, please feel free to leave a question in that thread and I will either answer it right there, depending how time sensitive it is, or answer it on the podcast. But moving along, we have shop update stuff. So yes, I will be having a shop update tomorrow at voolenvineyarns.com at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that is August August 19th. Yes, August 19th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope you can make it. Thank you to everybody who showed up to the last shop update. Last week was when I released all of the gory details Yarn Club colorways, so those went like hotcakes. You guys, thank you so much. I'm so glad that you were excited to finally get your mitts on those. And yes, so and the second installment of the Once Upon a Time club colorways have been shipped out, so if you are a part of that club, you should be getting it very soon. And yay! So okay, let me get my basket o' yarn and show you what's going to be in the shop tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow in the shop I will have some harpsichord, some more harpsichord, because it got such a good response last week that I just dyed up some more. I will have it on several bases, but here it is on Blitzed, my gold Stellina base, and then here it is on Narwhal, which is my super luxurious Superwash BFL cashmere and silk. Love this base so much. And then I dyed up a new colorway because I'm apparently on a yellow kick. I felt like I have my semi-solid yellow. It only made sense to create a speckled yellow, right? So I dyed up this colorway, and it's almost like a speckled harpsichord, version of like a speckled harpsichord, but I'm gonna call it Build Me Up Buttercup, because it does remind me of a buttercup for some reason. It's just so yellow and happy. So yeah, I will have it on Volca, I will have it on Blitzed, my Stellina base, I will have it on Footsie. Here it is. So yeah. And you guys, I think these two would go so well together if you're doing like stripes or what have you. There's that, and then I will have some Enjoy the Silence, everyone's favorite. There you go. And I really actually think these two go really well together. Yeah, I think they're a match. And then I will have some Outlander upon popular demand. Outlander will be in stock tomorrow on Footsie. For some reason I always get requests for Outlander on Footsie, so I always do my best to dye as much as I can on Footsie. But it will be dyed on my other bases as well, Narwhal, Stellina, or Narwhal, Blitzed, and Volca, and I think that's it for this week, but yeah. And I also, because many of you, I showed off a one-of-a-kind colorway last week that you guys requested that because I wrote down the formula and asked if you guys had wanted me to make it a regular, and the consensus was yes. So I dyed up more of that, and this is called Witching Hour. So here it is, and I also have it on Footsie. Again, I'll have it on my other bases as well, but yay, I have a dark blue, variegated. Oh, it's like a dark, no, I would say like it's a navy with hints of teal and purple. So yeah, I really like the way it turned out. And then I will also have some Gashly Crumb. These little guys did not make it into the shop update last week. I don't know how that happened, but I must have forgot to log them or itemize them and add them to the shop, but they will be in the shop this week. Gashly Crumb. I Am No Bird will be in stock. Let me see where I left it over there. Hang on. But yeah, I Am No Bird will be in stock. This is it on Narwhal. Let's see. And then this is it on Volca. Let me see. There you go. And then I had a little whoopsie daisies in the dye pot, and I feel like it's been a while since I dyed up I Am No Bird, but this is what happens when you are so confident that, oh, I remember that recipe, and then you just add the wrong color. And this is what happened, but I just added some more colors to it and made just a one-of-a-kind. So this will be a one-of-a-kind in the shop. I haven't named it yet, but there you go. I think it's really fun. It's kind of like a berry interpretation of I Am No Bird, but anyway. So yeah, that I will be dyeing some more colorways up today. I'm going to be dyeing up Phantom Fathom because that's been getting a lot of requests. So that will be in the shop tomorrow. I'm going to be dyeing up some more Fig Bash, and if I have time, I'm going to be dyeing up some more what is it, assaulted by bears. So stay tuned. Hope you can make the update. And yeah, so that said, I am gonna move along to Blather, which is a segment where I talk about what's been going on in my life, which I'm debating. See, I feel like every time I talk, I come to the Blather segment, I'm at a loss for words and I just talk about mundane things, like what I've been watching on TV. Not that they're mundane or anything, but I don't know. I feel like I should go in with a plan when I talk about, when it comes to the Blather segment. So I'm gonna be brainstorming over that a little bit. I like how Katie from Inside Number 23 has a theme sometimes when she does her general waffle segment. I just want to be better prepared for this segment sometimes, but this week I'll just go with it because I'm not prepared this week. So anyway, yeah, not much has been going on as usual. Later on, I'm gonna go, as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, Rachel is having a, I don't know if you can call it like a soft opening or just kind of like a, it's just kind of like a shindig or like a small get together with family and friends for her new yarn shop, Woolen, which is opening up in Brooklyn Heights. So of course I will post a link to the website where you can get all the info, but yeah, definitely check it out if you're gonna be in the area. I'm excited to see some of my friends and just hang out and check out the new shop. I know it's gonna be amazing. She posted on her Instagram feed of them taking the paper down from the windows, so it's all so exciting. I'm so excited for her. But yeah, that's tonight. And then lately on TV, Dennis and I have been hooked. I mean hooked on Stranger Things. I first heard about it from watching KT Inside Number 23, and then I realized like everybody and everyone is watching this show, and I can see why. It's just such an awesome homage to like the 80s, which is when I was growing up. It's kind of like a cross between like E.T. and what is it, Encounters of the Fourth Kind, like that type of genre, if you will, but it's done like to a T, like where everything is so, it's the 80s in a nutshell. So I love the opening. I know this one podcast, Vox, they did a whole like mini documentary on how they went about creating the intro for that show, and it was just so well done. And yeah, it's, I don't know, I would definitely say it's I don't know, it is child friendly, I think, if you're okay with your kids, if your kids aren't easily scared, I think. It's not, I think if you let your kids watch E.T., your kids should be fine watching this show. That's just my humble opinion. Maybe watch an episode or two before you make a final judgment. But anyway, yeah, I definitely recommend it if you haven't checked it out yet. But it's on Netflix, the whole entire season. Winona Ryder's in it. Definitely check it out. Highly recommend it. But otherwise, I'm trying to think. See, I'm not prepared. I'm just talking off the top of my head. I gave myself a manicure yesterday, much needed. I feel like because I use my hands so much, manicures barely last. Like, they never stay intact. I feel like after day 3, they already just start chipping. It's crazy. But in case you're curious, it's been a while since I painted my nails teal, but I was craving something like bright and summery and yeah, sparkles. So that is my manicure for this week. But anyway, that said, I think that's it for this week. I feel like Bella has not made an appearance on this podcast for quite some time. I think she's in the closet taking a nap, which is usually what she does when I'm recording these days, but she says hello. And yesterday was National Cat Appreciation Day, so yeah, appreciate your black cats because they are awesome. I love black cats, so yeah, anyway, totally babbling. That said, I am gonna sign off. Happy knitting, and I'll see you next time. Bye.